There is one nasty spirit that everyone has picked up on. Either Friedrich or Wilhelm.
Don't go anywhere by yourself.
I don't feel the best. This place is different tonight.
Oh, the Phasm camera?
Completely dead. How do we keep things charged in this house?
So the house was built in 1853, and it was a stagecoach stop. It was said to be owned by two brothers. They said that, they would murder and rob the people when they would come through at the stagecoach stop. We found no evidence of bodies being in the house, but on the property, we found 5 graves, 3 bodies. Where the pond is now, there was a barn, because Dan had divers go down a couple years ago, and they did find a human femur, so that's exciting, and obviously the foundation of the barn.
So we got in touch with Dan, the owner of the house, to get a little bit more information about the Dandy family who lived there in the 70s.
I mean, they moved in around 1970. They had been looking for a house, and they were looking for kind of that getaway type of dream home. And that was it for her. When they moved in, the day that they were scheduled to move in, the bees were swarming at the house. They had to call an exterminator. They weren't able to move in the house because of these honeybees. And those were actually there till when I bought it. They never actually went away. They were embedded into the floorboards of Mary's room. And it's funny because throughout Clara's book, they talked about how they thought that Mary's room was kind of like the epicenter of what was happening in the house. They felt like there was some type of portal in there. They actually boarded that room off and didn't let Mary sleep in there. She actually slept with her mom in the bed in the master bedroom or downstairs in the living room. They also had poltergeist-like activity happening throughout the house, things moving on their own, the gas being turned on, bricks flying, crazy things happening to them. Their daughter, Laura, was really physically affected by whatever energy was in the location at the time. Eventually got the approval to do a structural or exorcism, which is more like cleansing of the location. The family were all stood in the living room. They said that the whole house shook.
And this is the wonderful closet. A lot of people will say that there is a portal in there. If anyone's brave enough to sit in the closet, I just wouldn't sit upstairs by yourself, just in case you need pulled out. There is one nasty spirit that everyone has picked up on. Either Friedrich or Wilhelm. I think it's the same person. I think that's his full name. The first time that we had the privilege of meeting him, he was laughing and joking that he beat his wife and thinks that all women should be beat. Basically, women are trash.
Don't go anywhere by yourself.
The story with the woman in white, she came over on a boat, and she was a servant of the house. We don't know who owned the house at the time, but she words that he put a baby in me. So when she started to show, that's when they hung her. The residual is down in the basement. Another place I would not recommend going by yourself, unless you're like really okay. Ghost Can has caught chairs flying across the basement when there's nobody been down there. They've been grabbed, they've been pushed, people have had their hair pulled. There's been banging, there's always banging and knocking here. It's so much fun.
On this investigation, we were joined by my friend Matt Nally, who is one of the people that I initially started paranormal investigating with whenever I was younger. We were also joined by our current director of photography, Patrick Hundley, who operated and set up every camera.
Alright, my name is Brandon. I am sitting here with Haley, Matt, and Patrick. We are upstairs in Clara and Phil Dandy's old room at the Hinsdale House. It is April 18th, It's approximately about 11:30 at night, and we are conducting our very first EVP session of the night.
We spent about an hour upstairs in the master bedroom and experienced zero activity. The only thing that we found unusual was both of our cameras downstairs had completely died within 30 to 45 minutes of setting them up. Other than that, nothing happened. So we decided to split up and look for clues. Haley and Patrick headed to the basement, while Matt and I stayed upstairs and experienced more equipment failures.
It's dead. Unless it cut itself off. Low battery, please charge. What the f***?
Okay, so it's me and Patrick. We're in the basement.
Hey, so I have no clue about how long this thing has been recording up here, but our camera up here is dead, even though it's a full battery.
I thought we... Which camera is that?
Completely dead. Like, how do we keep things charged in this house? I'm just gonna go downstairs and pick one of the ones on the tripod.
Okay.
It's said that a lot of energy is down here in the basement, and that chairs have been seen flying across the room. There's heavy energy, and some even believe that there's a portal in the basement. But I decided to isolate myself in the basement for a little while to see if there's anything happening. If there's anyone down here in the basement with me, I have a little box right here sitting on the chair next to me, the circular box that has a red light on it. If you want to go over there and touch that, it's going to make a noise and it's going to light up different colors so that I can know that you're here. Do you like it when other people are in the basement with you? Or do you wish I would go back upstairs? I was hopeful about this area in the basement because it was said that there's a lot of energy down here, and that they didn't necessarily think that the energy was good, and that it could become a little violent with throwing things and activity as such as that. But I don't feel anything. I feel like I haven't felt much in the house. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is run a sweep of the forest with the EMF reader, because there should be no EMF fields out here, and if there are, there shouldn't be very many. So if we do get any unnatural electromagnetic fields, we'll definitely know it. Outside is actually the best place to use these things. Hey, see if you can pick up anything here. I'm not having any luck. Go with this one. Use this one here. Maybe around here or something. I don't know if we'll pick up anything here.
Nothing.
Tell you about over here and stuff.
Did it spike?
No, thank you. I didn't need your help. I just wanted to do that.
That stays in, right?
It definitely stays in. What?
That's what you get.
Hopefully I don't face anything at the last time. Keep your eyes on her, not me. She's the one to look out for.
Okay, you go down first. I have to keep both of you in frame.
Oh, muddy too. If we get a running start, it's not as bad, Haley.
A running start! I think that's how it works.
On day 2, we wanted to find ways to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone in order to gather some sort of evidence in the house. Haley decided that conducting a spirit box session using the Estes method would be a good place to start. The Estes method is a technique of listening to responses on a spirit box while using noise-canceling headphones and a blindfold. This technique allows the listener to give unbiased feedback on what they were hearing due to the fact that they cannot see or hear the questions being asked. Haley volunteered to start the session in the closet in hopes of bringing out the entity that dislikes women. Since she would be in the closet, we decided not to blindfold her because the rest of the team would be asking the questions on the other side of the wall in the master bedroom. The following took place over the next 30 minutes. My name is Brandon. I'm with Matt and Patrick. Haley is in the closet that some believe, allegedly...
Brandon!
Yes. Brandon? Did it say Brandon? She can't hear me. Did you just say Brandon? So, allegedly, this closet is a portal that allows multiple different types of entities to come in and out of this house. It's also said to be home to one of the more malevolent spirits in the house, named Friedrich, which specifically does not like women. So it was Haley's idea to go into the closet by herself to try to draw out the spirit of Friedrich or any other spirits that may want to communicate. Is there anyone in the closet right now with Haley?
Go!
Do you want us to leave you alone? Do you like Haley being in the closet by herself? It makes her a little bit more vulnerable, wouldn't you think? Something said go earlier. Who was that?
Bitch!
Did you just say bitch? Friedrich, is that you? Does it bother you to see successful women who don't have to be loyal servants to men? Because it said that you disrespected women, that you thought less of them. Do you think less of her? Can you tell us what your name is? Friedrich, if you're listening, our tour guide said, like I said, that you didn't like women, but that you were irritated.
Friedrich!
That's weird. How would she know that I said that?
I got coaches.
Friedrich, why are you here?
Go!
Go where? This is the second time you said that. Where do you want me to go?
Ivy!
Ivy. Who is someone else trying to come through? Who else is in there with Haley?
Stop!
What? What?
It just screamed stop, and then I felt like someone was behind me.
You're kidding.
No, it was the loudest thing I've ever heard. Stop! Like it screamed at me. In the beginning of the Spirit Box session, it was exciting to hear the responses we were getting. But as time went along, I felt like someone was in the closet telling me to get out. And when it said stop, it scared me. When we started the Spirit Box session, we honestly weren't expecting so many responses. And we definitely didn't expect them to be so loud that they would capture on camera.
So we got some interesting responses when Haley was using the noise canceling headphones with the Spirit Box, and we decided to take it a step further, and we're also going to blindfold her. Granted, she's not been able to see any of us asking questions because we're in the next room, but I feel like this is going to give her a further sense of isolation and vulnerability. And if Friedrich really is in this house right now, especially in this room, I think she's going to realize it. Okay, back up, back up. Sit.
Oh my god, it's so dark.
Okay.
Where's...
So I'll turn on the Spirit Box for you.
You gotta show me where the button is so I can, because I like to change the speed.
Okay. Friedrich, if you're here with us, Haley's got a blindfold on now. So she's even more vulnerable. Now, we want answers about why you hate women so much. What is it about women that you dislike? Is there anyone in there other than Friedrich? Is that her? Haley, was that you? Hey, no, it's okay. It's okay, it's me. It's okay. Did you just bang on the wall before? No, I just banged on the wall. But did you do this before? Something was scratching in here with you. I banged on the wall to get your attention. But something was in here scratching before that. You didn't touch the walls.
No, I was sitting straight still.
Y'all heard it, right?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
I kind of scared the hell out of you. That was a very bad idea on my half.
After reviewing the clip of Haley in the closet, we could tell that Haley slightly moved her leg. It is my belief that she slid her foot across the floor while making that noise. I do not believe that this was paranormal, but her reaction was too good not to include. But after putting Haley through absolute hell, it was time to put me outside of my comfort zone.
Can you say any of our names? Is there anyone in
I think I just heard my name.
Can you say it again?
After 20-some minutes of me doing the Estes method, this is the only response that I got. So I decided that I wanted to spend a little bit of time inside the house by myself. So the rest of the team left the house while I stayed in Mary's room. I am the only one right now in the house. I'm upstairs in Mary's room, which is said to be one of the most active rooms in the house. If there's anything in this house or in this room, can you let me know that you're here? Looks like there's a variety of things that you can mess with to get my attention. There's a toy on the floor that I've heard that you love moving. There's a toy sitting on the chair across from me, and it can be activated by touching it. There's a music box. There's a bunch of things that you can touch. Don't be afraid to come introduce yourself to me. I promise I'm not here to hurt anyone. I just want to understand.
I never imagined this house to be so quiet. Why are you being so quiet? I think I might have heard something downstairs. So, whenever the priest came in and they blessed this home, it is said that when they performed the rite of exorcism, that this entire house shook. What the f***? What was that? Did you all just try to radio me?
We have not.
My radio is beeping.
Ours is doing weird things.
It has battery power, so it's not that. I have no clue what's going on with the radio. I have no clue what's going on with the radio. I first heard the growl whenever I was reviewing the audio recordings that night. I have no clue what's going on with the radio.
What was that? Was that you?
Oh, I don't
It
know.
sounded like a growl or a bark.
I wasn't paying attention. I heard it, but I thought it was me for a second. No. What's going on with the radio? No way. My first instinct was to immediately watch the video to make sure I hadn't made a noise while accidentally forgetting to document it on the recorder. But as you can see, I didn't move, and it wasn't me that made that noise. I honestly have no explanation for this. I was the only one in the house, and I didn't hear anything at the time of recording. Yet a distinct growl noise can be heard on both the audio recording and the video. That is weird as hell. I didn't hear it. As our night 2 investigation began, we decided to set up in the living room to conduct a REM pod session where the failed exorcism occurred. Do you remember the priest that blessed this property? He tried to perform an exorcism on this place? Do you remember that?
I heard footsteps upstairs.
Does it make you mad when we talk about the exorcism? I mean, it was just the anniversary of it just a few days ago. Can you do that again if you are confirming that you don't want us talking about the exorcism? I want the record to know as well. We've used this REM pod this whole time. We've used it yesterday, throughout the day, yesterday, and we used it a bunch today. But that's the first time it's went off in this house, and it went off on cue, upon questioning. And I'm one of those people that want to have logical explanations for some things, but I won't even start to begin to try to explain that. That was on cue. After our REM pod session, the house began to feel different. The air quality of the house felt thick and heavy, and it was obvious that something wasn't right. Not too long after, I began to experience a loud ringing in my ears, and I only wish that I would have taken that as a warning sign to leave the house for a while, but I didn't.
Alright.
Yeah, give me chills. My head feels like
Stuffy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
heavy.
Felt that earlier.
I don't feel the best.
That's probably how I felt.
Chest hurting?
No,
No?
I'm nervous.
Anxious?
Yeah.
At first, I think I was in denial about what was happening to me, but the rest of the team was a lot more concerned, as they should have been.
Okay? Yeah, I'm good.
Better?
Wanna go outside for a second? Ground yourself?
I think I'm fine.
You okay?
I'll be fine. I just felt sick. We're good.
Good?
You get sick again? Yeah. Let's go to the car.
This place is different tonight.
Out of every place I've ever investigated, I've never felt the way that I felt that night. I was quickly overcome by a ringing in my ears, followed by what felt like a choking sensation. If the roads weren't covered in snow that night, I cannot guarantee that I wouldn't have left. At that point, I didn't want to be anywhere near that house. I feel like I pissed something off, and that was its way of warning me to stop. For the next 10 to 15 minutes, we sat in the car, trying to ground and shield ourselves from the energy we felt. During our interview with Dan, we mentioned several of the experiences we had in the house, and felt validated when we learned many others have also had similar experiences, even in the weeks after our investigation. I think we upset something, and I think it told us, like, hey, no, we're here. And it proved it to me in the worst way. So
Yeah, there's a darker energy that's associated with the house that basically, if you acknowledge it, you call it out, it will definitely with you.
it did.
And the girls that were there this weekend encountered the same thing. They said it was unlike anything, and it was suppressing them, and they had to leave, the same as you had to leave out of the house. It will be like you said, night and day.
It was kind of scary too, because when I got sick, our first idea is like, hey, we need to leave this house for a little while. But it's like, even if we want to leave tonight, there's no way we're getting down that hill when there's 7 inches of snow. There's just no way.
Yeah,
So it was kind of like this
really
feeling of
stuck there.
isolation.
Yeah.
And that was the scariest part. Like, if it happened to me, I'd be like, okay, that happened. We can leave if we have to, but there was no leaving.
That was similar to my first time ever going to the house. I had no idea the backstory of it. The co-founder of my team said, I'll brief you guys when I get there. And it was snowing out, and I remember there was no Hinsdale House sign pointing this way. And I had a little 2-wheel drive car. I didn't know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
I remember backing up that Don McMahon Road and zooming up that hill. And then I'm like, where the hell am I? Then finally I got to the house. And I was like, my God, we didn't have any internet. We had no form of communication with the outside world at all. That was so important to me to get internet there. So put yourself in that situation, and then take your phones out of the equation.
So we've investigated quite a bit inside. I will say yesterday was kind of a letdown because not much happened, but today has made up for that. I'll just say that. I don't know what happened, but I got extremely nauseous, extremely sick, and we took a break. But even now, we kind of want to cover some ground outside, get some fresh air, and go from there. I'm actually shocked that I'm going to continue with this investigation. I will say that what I felt in the house was by far one of the scariest things I've ever been through. I've never been scared or sick to the point that I had tears. And I know that everyone on the team was worried about me. But I also want to point out that I'm not the only one who went through this night either. Haley also went through the same thing. She was sick, disoriented. Even before we came out here and was going to continue on outside, she felt it again. So I think we provoked something during our daytime investigation when we had our courage of the daytime. And I think we paid for it whenever it became nighttime. We had nothing happen yesterday, almost nothing.
The house woke up.
That is the best way to explain it. Like, it just felt different. So we're going to start an EVP session. I don't know if we'll come into contact with anything out here, but we will try. My name is Brandon. I am here with Haley, Matt, and Patrick. We are currently in the woods, and we are at the Giving Tree. I am just wanting to know if there is anyone out here in the woods with us tonight. So we know there's been a lot of Native Americans who have passed away around this area. Are there any Native Americans around who would wish to say something to us? We mean you no disrespect, and we mean you no harm. We just want to know if you're here with us. As far as we knew, we experienced no activity in the woods. We also spent some time at the pond, but received the same results. At this point, it was time to call it a night. When reviewing the audio recordings of our time in the woods and by the pond, we noticed that the recordings have nothing on them. And I mean literally nothing. 8+ minutes of dead silence. I have no clue why the audio recorder didn't record any audio, but it's odd enough to classify this as yet another technical difficulty.
After being in the Hinsdale House the first night, I felt comfortable, and I wasn't sure it was as haunted as people said it was. So we pushed our boundaries in hopes of a response. And that's exactly what we got. As the night went on, you could feel a shift in the atmosphere, something darker. When thinking about going back to the Hinsdale House, I don't know if I want to. That last night took a lot out of us.
Throughout day one, I was disappointed because I expected the house to be a lot more active than it was. Even though we experienced multiple equipment failures throughout the first 24 hours, we hadn't gathered any concrete evidence. That was until we started the Estes method in the closet with Haley. I believe we came in contact with a malevolent spirit who wanted us to leave. From the start, I think it disliked me the most. We heard my name multiple times through the spirit box. Not to mention, our audio recorder caught a loud grunt or growling noise upstairs with me. It only makes sense that the night ended the way that it did. At the point of getting sick, I was beyond ready to leave the house and never return. But now, I have started to understand what everyone says about this house. It has a way of drawing you in. And somehow, I'm looking forward to going back again soon. I still have so many questions that I want answers to. The only thing that I know for certain after leaving the Hinsdale House is that it is haunted, and something there didn't like me very much.